Hi, in this next video I'm going to show you how to record your voice to do your podcast introduction voiceover directly into Adobe Audition. So first of all, we'll start by opening up Audition. Now that Audition is open, we'll start by opening up a new workspace. So we'll go to File, New, Multi-Track Session, and then we'll give our session a name. So I'm going to call this Regine's Podcast Introduction. Now you want to pay attention to where the file will be saved. I've decided to have mine saved to my desktop. It defaults sometimes to Adobe Creative Cloud account, so it might be difficult to find it if you haven't paid attention to where it's saving. So change the file location to somewhere convenient where you know you'll look for your podcast recordings. Now, the next important thing is to look at the template. So I've been using the podcast template already, so it's defaulted to podcast template, but make sure you change your template to podcast. The sample rate and bit depth rate, just leave them as they are, as that's linked to the template settings. Now click OK. Okay, so now we have the workspace for a podcast. So we have different tracks for host, interview, sound effects, and music bed. So I want to record my own voice doing an introduction voiceover for my podcast. So first of all, I just want to check where the program is taking the audio in from. So I'm going to go to Adobe Audition, Preferences, and Audio Hardware. Click here. Now I'm using an external microphone. I've got a little lapel mic I've borrowed from somebody. I've got this clipped on just below my chin, and this is plugged into my laptop at the moment. So external mic. Now because I'm using a software to record this tutorial called Screencast-O-Matic, I have my output set to Screencast-O-Matic. That's so you can hear the recordings that I'm making in Adobe Audition, but you could have your output set to your device's standard speakers. So click OK. Now we want to make sure we're working in the workplace area, so we'll click Inputs and Outputs here. Now the next important step to make sure you can record your voice is to go into the input for this particular track that we're going to record into, and go to Input and click here. Go to Mono, as I'm recording a mono production, and then click again External Microphone. So you must complete those two steps. Okay, you may have noticed when I click that this little R button went from grey to white, meaning I can now activate this particular track for recording. So hopefully you can all now see the green bar bouncing up and down, and it's indicating to me that it's picking up my audio and that I can record in this track. Okay, if you don't complete those two steps where you actually tell the program where to take the audio from, you'll find that this R button is grayed out and you won't be able to start recording. So when you're ready, you can head down to this record button at the bottom here and just start recording. Test, test, test. This is a recording of me testing out recording in Adobe Illustrator for the purpose of a tutorial, so you can see how a voiceover might work. Okay, so now you have some audio recorded. So if you wanted to go back and press play, you can have a listen. This is a recording of me testing out recording in Adobe Illustrator. And when you're happy with that, or you can keep going. If you're not happy with it and you want to delete it, just select, I'll just move that out of the way, and delete. Okay, so just grab, select, and delete. Okay, so if you wanted to start recording again, this is the second recording. This is me trying over after having a little bit of practice and trying to record my audio again. Okay, so just keep going, keep listening back to what you're recording, and when you're happy that you've got your introduction right, it might take 2, 3, 4, or even 5 attempts. If you've written a nice little script, it will really help. Again, just something that suits your brand that you're trying to develop for your podcast. Make sure you're getting all of the key pieces of information across about your podcast, the show name, the host name, the topic, for example, in the manner, whether that's high energy or soothing or serious, that you've chosen for your podcast. So hopefully this tutorial has been useful and it will help you to record your voice in Adobe Illustrator.